I'm going to give you the smartest technique to shortlisting graduate schools that will guarantee you success. Step number 1. You have to identify the schools based on one of these 3 methods described in this sheet. The first one being ranking. Ranking corresponds to global ranking, national ranking, or the ranking of the specific program that you're applying for. You'd want to look for an average of the 3. And you can look at websites such as usnews.com or forbes.com. The second is perception. This refers to sports championships, national championships, schools that have been big in the sports picture for winning consecutively over a number of years. These are schools that will be well known and people will all talk about these schools. America is very big on sports. The third one is placement. These are schools that you will find out by backtracking through the desired job that you want after graduation, then looking for people that were hired in that job in the recent years based on maybe LinkedIn searches or other social media searches, and then looking at what school they graduated from. If you see a name or a couple of names here of schools that are recurring, then you may want to note that down, as those would be schools that you can backtrack based on placement of individuals that have the same job that you want after graduation. Now, once you've identified these schools, you want to be able to shortlist them. Let's say you have 20 schools that you've identified here, and you want to shortlist 6. What you're going to do is divide that number, the shortlist number that you've got in mind, into 3. Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Tier 1 is the dream list. This is schools that will be highest ranking, your top most ranked schools, for example, Ivy League schools. These are schools that if you get an admission into, it will be a no-brainer and you will say yes on the spot. The second list is the good schools list. These are schools that may not be the highest ranked, but they are reasonably ranked, and they also leverage perception and placement. They have a good perception, they have a good persona in the public, and a lot of individuals working the job that you want to work have been to that school. Now, these are good schools, and state universities are a good example of these schools. The third list is the mediocre list. This list leverages more perception and placement, but not so much ranking, because there'll probably be mid-tier ranks or not as high ranked. So you might not have heard of these schools as much. A lot of city colleges will come under this category. Now, what you need to remember is that Tier 1, if you get into Tier 1, you're obviously going to say yes. Tier 2, again, most likely you're going to say yes. The only reason you're going to say yes to a Tier 3 school is so that you get a 4.0 GPA in your first semester and you get out of there. You transfer out to a Tier 2 school or a Tier 1 school. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the smartest technique to shortlisting graduate schools, which will guarantee you success.